there, I'm Sheryl Goodwin Magiera, your go-to guide for life's messy and magical moments. As a farm girl turned single mom, I often wondered what life would look like after my kids were grown. Turns out, it was all about rediscovering and loving myself first. On this podcast, we'll dive into topics that touch the soul, like love, loss, triumphs, and setbacks. So grab your favorite drink and buckle up. Welcome to the Imperfectly Charming Podcast. Welcome to Imperfectly Charming, where this week I journey back to the roots of fondest memories and the simple joys of childhood. Today, we revisit those boundless adventures that shaped us, the freedom of growing up surrounded by nature, and the creativity that flourished in the absence of modern distractions. Imagine a childhood spent on a sprawling farm where the nearest town was a world away, and each day held the promise of new adventures. This was my reality, and today I invite you to walk with me down memory lane. From hide and seek in the towering cornfields to makeshift swimming pools in iron cow tanks, my siblings and I crafted our playground amidst the beauty of the land we called home. But there's one special place, the slough, a swampy playground of our own making, where the most vivid adventures unfolded. Join me as we explore these cherished memories and the profound impact of growing up in wide open spaces. Although it was written a few years ago, the memory stays with me. It's titled Wide Open Spaces, and it goes like this. Growing up on a farm was a child's dream, especially for this farm girl. Living out in the country far from the nearest town or city, we used our imagination and the farm fields to take us on great adventures. My parents' house was surrounded by land that my brother, sister, and I had access to. We used to play hide and seek in the corn, swing from a rope in the haymow, explore and play in other farm buildings, climb trees, build forts, ride bikes, mini bikes, and go-karts. We even had our own swimming pool when my dad let us scrub the large iron cow tank and fill it with cold water. What a treat. Until recently, there was a place I hadn't thought about in a long while, the slough. After reminiscing with my brother, he mentioned the slough was what the farmers referred to as wet areas that weren't farmable. The slough was in the middle of a large piece of property adjacent to our house. We used the wet and swampy area as a playground, even though the land surrounding the slough was planted and harvested each year. Right smack dab in the middle of the property was an old dirt road we referred to as Slough Road. This week, I happened to be on Slough Road. It's no longer made of dirt and potholes, but is now paved smooth and very wide, lined with trees and a sidewalk, which is directly to the east of the slough that still exists. You would hardly recognize it now since it's grown in height and size. Years of memories flooded back as I took it all in. Several years ago, my parents sold some of their property, including the slough. During our childhood, we used to ice skate on the pond in the winter and have seaworthy adventures during the summer. In order to get to the slough, the shortest route was straight through the field, about a half a mile from home. We would haul whatever we needed for our latest adventure through the field or alongside the edge and down Slough Road when the crops were tall. Whether it was shovels, brooms, and ice skates during the winter, or lumber and rope in summer months for rafts that would take us to worlds far away. As I slowly drove up and down the road, it looked very different, yet oddly the same. Remembering those days and reliving some of the memories with both my brothers this week made me aware and appreciate the joy we created as our own siblinghood. The wide open spaces of our farm provided us with adventure that took us to fantastic destinations in our minds. What memorable moments do you have as a child? Think back on those precious memories and connect again with those that helped create them. What a blessing to have rediscovered the slew all over again. If only I could hop on a raft with Greg, Cindy, and Jeff and sail away to the other side of the world, even if only for a day. As we close this episode about wide open spaces, I hope it has stirred in you your own golden memories of childhood adventures and the spaces where your imagination roamed free. Revisiting the slew after all these years, now paved and changed, yet still strangely familiar, reminds us of the impermanence of places, but the enduring nature of memories. As I shared tales of ice skating on frozen ponds and crafting rafts for seaworthy adventures, I'm reminded of the unbreakable bonds formed when siblings and friends in those wide open spaces happened. What precious memories do you hold from your childhood? I encourage you to reconnect with those who were part of your adventures and perhaps revisit those old stomping grounds. There's a unique magic in recalling the past and sharing it with others, rekindling the joy and freedom of our earliest days. Thank you for joining me on this nostalgic journey. Until next time, keep cherishing those wide open spaces of your past, and may they continue to inspire you to seek adventure and joy in the everyday. As a little bit of a side note, when we used to build those rafts and go on our sailing ventures, it was probably a foot of mud that we had to get through. So it was quite dirty when we would come home. I'm sure my mother was not a fan of washing all of our dirty clothes. But on that side note, I will see you soon, friends. If you love this episode, you won't want to miss my free workbook, 7 Simple Ways to Elevate Your Life. Head over to the imperfectlycharming.com website to snag your copy. And hey, if this podcast resonated with you, do me a favor, like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And until we meet again, shine on, friends.